everyone, this is the video tutorial for the meal and macro planner with shopping list spreadsheet. If you have not purchased this template, I will leave links in the description box so you can go ahead and grab your copy. If you have purchased this template, the first thing you're going to see is the instructions tab. Here you'll find my contact information as well as a detailed step-by-step guide that will help you get started with using your template. The next tab is the ingredients tab. Here's where you'll add your food items and your ingredients that you want to keep track of. It does come preloaded with common food items. However, you can delete these and add your own. Now let's take a closer look at the actual table. We have the header title here, and right here at the corner, you have this box that says highlight ingredients. When you click the drop down arrow, you see the same list of ingredients that appear here over here. And this is going to help you when you're searching for ingredients, especially when this list gets really long. Let's say I want to search for avocado. I click on avocado and it will highlight the avocado right here. Let's try something else that's all the way at the bottom. So hazelnuts, and we have to scroll down. But as you can see, it highlights the hazelnuts right here. So that way you can easily locate an item if you're just trying to get some more details for that specific food item. This template is preloaded with standard examples of common food items and a standard serving size. However, if this does not work for you, or if you want to use grams, for example, you can change this to whatever you want, but please note that this will not change automatically. You'll need to manually change the grams of protein, carbs, fats, and fiber that corresponds to your new serving size. The only thing that will automatically be calculated for you is this column right here. It's the calorie column, which is grayed out because it contains formulas. This is also to alert you that you don't want to type over this column. In order to edit this table, the first thing you want to do is delete the columns that are not gray. So you don't want to delete this because, like I mentioned before, it does have formulas. So you go ahead and delete this, and you can just go ahead and select everything all the way down and just hit delete. And now select this area, including the category. Just select everything in this area and now click delete. Okay, so now you have a blank slate. You can go ahead and type in your new food item. You can type the serving size you want to use, so whatever measurement works for you. So let's say you don't want to use the standard cups or teaspoons or tablespoons and you want to specifically use grams, you can do so here as well. And then you can go ahead and type in the protein amount, carbohydrates, fats, and fiber. Now I'm just making up amounts here. This is not accurate. I'm only doing this to show you how the template works when you add in new food items. After you've entered the gram amount for protein, carbohydrates, and fats, it will automatically calculate the number of calories. But see what happens if I delete, let's say, carbohydrates, for example. Okay, this disappears because it's expecting an entry for each one. So if this food item does not contain any carbs, that's fine. All you need to do is just add 0 and it will calculate the calories based on the entry. So you have to enter a number in each column for the formula to work correctly. The last area is the category. Now it does come pre-built in with drop down, so you can go ahead and click here and select the category that works for you. If none of these categories work for you, you want to change it to something else, or you want to add another category, go ahead and click on this pencil icon that says edit, and then you can go ahead and type in or delete a category. So let's say you do not want this category here, you can go ahead and delete it and then add another category that works for you. After you're done typing in the categories, click done. It will ask you if you want to apply to all. You want to say yes, apply to all. And then when we go back here, you can see the new category has been added. If you change any of these items here, the color that has been assigned originally will be deleted. So you can always go back, click on edit, and reassign a color to the item. So this doesn't have a color because it's a new item, and you can reassign a color to it. Click done, apply to all, and now the color has been applied to this item, and not just here. It applies to every single drop down in this column. This table comes with sort and filter options built into it. When you look at the header row, you can see that each header column has this little icon next to it. Let's click on the first one, and you see that you have the option to sort this column alphabetically, as well as filter this column. Let's say you want to add a new item. You don't have to scroll all the way down. To add a new item, make sure you're clicked into any of the columns. We're going to clear, and then select blank and hit OK. Once you do this, you can see now the next row is 177. So it has collapsed all of the rows that are not blank. So you can go ahead and type in your new food item. So let's say coconut milk. Okay, we'll do 1 cup. All right, so now that we've added a new item, we can go back, select all, and click OK. And you can see that this item hasn't added all the way to the bottom. So now what we want to do is sort in alphabetical order. So this coconut milk goes all the way up with the rest of the items beginning with letter C. So go to the same icon here, click on that, and just click sort A to Z. And now you can see that the coconut milk should be right here. And you can always double check by going here. We're going to type coconut milk. And you can see right here, the item has been highlighted and it's not all the way at the bottom anymore. You can do this for any of the columns. So let's say you want to filter by category and you want to see all your food items that contain the category of fat. Click on that, clear all, and then you want to select the category you want to filter for. So let's say fats, click on OK. Now, you're going to get this message anytime you try to use the filter option. And this is because there are formulas built into this sheet, this column right here. So it's telling you you're trying to edit the sheets that shouldn't be changed. Now, if you're only using the filter item, that's okay. All you have to do is say, don't show this again for 5 minutes and click OK. This is a feature that I added to protect your formulas. But if you feel like it's getting in the way of you using this template, there are ways to completely remove it. Click on don't show again for 5 minutes, click OK. And now you can see the only thing that shows up in this table are the food items with the fat category. And then to take it back, you can go ahead and select all and take it back. All right, the next few tabs are your weekly planning tabs. Here is where you will plan and track your macros as well as create your shopping list for the week. So each tab will work for 7 days an entire week. This is what a completed weekly tab looks like. And what I'm going to do is go to week 2, which is empty, so I can show you how it works from scratch. So the first area is the shopping list. Here you can add food items manually to the shopping list by clicking on the drop down arrow, and this will pull ingredients from your ingredients tab. In this area, the food items will be added automatically based on your meal planning area for the week. We'll come back to this. Moving on to the next section, this is your weekly summary area. This is also where you would plan the day you want to start tracking, as well as the calories you want to consume for that week. So we'll start with the week start day and double click to select the dates. Let's navigate to January 1st, and we're going to start with January 5th, Sunday. So once you select the date here, you'll notice that the date automatically updates here. So here you have the first day for day 1, January 5th, and the next one, day 2, January 6th, and so on. The next area you want to edit would be this area right here. You don't want to touch anything in this gray area. Similar to this, you don't want to edit anything in this gray area because it will update automatically. So make this bigger. So right here is where you add in how many calories you want to consume for the week. Select these and hit delete. And then you can add in your calories for the week. So for the week, you're going to consume 2,100 calories. Okay. Now you have to add in your protein. So let's say you want to add 150 grams of protein. Now, as you can see, it's going to start calculating the percentages for you. 150 grams of protein is 29% of 2,100 calories. So now let's add carbohydrates. Let's say this will be 250 and this is 48%. Okay, and then let's add fat. So let's do 70 grams of fat. So this is 106%. So it's over the calories. So you want to adjust either of these macros to make sure that this percentage is 100%. All right, so this is much better. So 150, 240, and 60, we are at 100%. Alternatively, depending on how you're calculating your macros, you might start with a percentage, figure out the grams, place the grams here. It just depends on how you want to do it. So you don't really have to do anything in this area. All you have to do is add in the information right here that says plan for the week. The rest of the template will automatically update once you start adding in your meal plan and tracking your meal consumption for the week. All right, so now let's move to day 1. As you can see, it's entirely blank. Nothing shows up. So right here is where we have a graph that will be activated once we start adding in some meals. And here's a summary of our weekly plan. These numbers match these numbers right here. And as you add in meals, they will start to adjust to give you an idea of how much you need to add and how much you need to subtract. Let's say for breakfast, we're going to have almond butter and a banana and an egg. Okay, so let's say we're doing egg whites. Now we can change the quantity here as well, but remember it's going to pull in the serving size and the calories from the ingredients tab. If these serving sizes don't work for you, you have to go ahead and change them here. Once you have the serving size that work for you, then you can adjust the quantity. So let's say you want to do 2 tablespoons of almond butter. Go ahead and change the quantity to 2. Changing the quantity here will change the number of calories. So before, when it was 1, the calories was 101. We change this to 2. Now we have it at 202, so it doubles it. This back to 1, and let's add a few more items for lunch. Let's see, we have some lentils, some asparagus, and chicken. All right, and we can adjust the quantities. As you can see, the calories are already adding up on the proteins and the carbs. Everything is green because we still have this number of calories left. So now we're going to go ahead and add some more. As you can see in the table, we can add more proteins, more carbs, and more fat. This stays green below our caloric needs and will turn red once we have exceeded our caloric needs. And it will show you a check mark if you are exactly at your goal. And now what you notice is that right here, this list begins to update. It updates when we add items to our tracker planner area. So let's say I delete these items. You can see that the list becomes shorter. One thing that's nice about this is that it's not going to duplicate the item. So if I duplicate an item here where I have almond butter here and I add it again here, you see that it only shows up once. So that way it keeps your list nice and tidy. Let's say you want to add another item to this list that's not part of your meal planning. You can go ahead and select the item and add it. It will flag for duplicates as well. So if you already have almonds showing up here and if you add almonds, it will show up in this red color. So just go ahead and delete that and add something else that's not part of the list. So we'll add avocado and let's say navy beans. And it allows you to add 33 items. If you find out that you are exceeding this list, just let me know and I'll be able to adjust it for you. All right, I'm going to switch back to week number 1 because it's fully completed, as you can see. Scroll all the way back here and we can see the summary table. It has been fully completed. And we can compare how we did on average to our plan. So based on the entries in week 1, our weekly calorie average is close to our goal. Protein is slightly above, carbs slightly below, and fat above our goal. And then you can see the percentages calculated for you as well. Here you can see your weekly calorie breakdown. So Sunday through Saturday, you can see your total amounts that you consume for the week. Down here is a summary table with your calories, your proteins, your carbs, and your fat. The average right here is the same amount that shows up right here. And finally, the last chart shows you a summary of your fats, carbs, and protein for the entire week in one graph. That way you can easily compare the trend across the week for each macronutrient. All right, so that brings me to the end of this walkthrough video. Like I said before, if you have not purchased this template, I will leave links in the description box so you can go ahead and grab a copy. If you have any questions, my contact information can be found here. Thank you so much for watching.